Welcome back to Day in Our Point, Counterpoint. We are looking back at the second Super Tuesday. With me today, we have Matt Makoviak from the Potomac Strategy Group and Ed Espinoza, Executive Director of Progress Texas. Thank you both for being here today.
Sure.
Well, turnout for the presidential primary in Michigan broke a record set back in 1972. Clerks were running out of ballots. Matt, could this signal that people are more perhaps vested in this election?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we haven't had Michigan have the Republican and Democratic contests on the same day in a long time, and so that was a big question last night, is what would happen to those Reagan Democrats who were, which was a term that was coined in Macomb County in Michigan in the Reagan years, and it looks like really they did split. Looks like they gave Bernie Sanders a surprise victory, a narrow victory in Michigan. The polls showed him down 20 or so in the last couple days, and then it gave Trump, I think, a good win in Michigan. But look, coming out of last night, I think here's what we know. Trump remains in a strong position. Cruz is the only one positioned to perhaps defeat Trump either through the rest of the contest or in an open convention. And Marco Rubio's campaign is really hanging by a thread. He's hoping to continue on to Florida next Tuesday, but if he loses Florida, it's over, and it's probably already over.
Yeah, it's definitely already over for Rubio. As I mentioned last week, he's somewhere between a novelty and irrelevant at this point. Running in single digits in two major states is a problem. Running behind in double digits at home is a bigger problem. So I don't see a path for him. There's really not much path for anyone other than Trump right now. The tidal wave has hit. The establishment just hasn't realized it yet. They're trying to find ways to slow him down, and it's just not happening. As far as the Democrats go in Michigan, you know, that polling was off. Part of the problem, according to the website 538, one of the things they noted was that all the Democratic polling had stopped before the debate in Flint on Sunday. And at this point in a presidential cycle, it's getting a lot of excitement and a lot of attention. You have to keep polling to see where the electorate is going. And in this case, they went anti-establishment and they went for Bernie.
Now, you know, Trump took 3 states. We know that, despite being hammered, though, lately by all of these political ads. They're spending millions on these anti-Trump political ads. Ed, do you feel these negative ads are actually helping him?
Well, I don't know if they're helping him as much as they might just be, again, too little, too late. Not only did Trump win 3 states yesterday, but he has now won 2 caucuses in 4 days. And that's significant because Trump doesn't traditionally, in the past month or so, if you call that traditional, he hasn't won caucuses, and now he's winning them on a regular basis. That is a significant sign. Plus, the other thing is that his outsized personality, the amount of media he gets, might be bigger than any advertising you can throw at this guy. So I think he just might be too big to stop.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Trump earns more media than you could ever afford to do in paid media. But I do think the negative ads have had an effect. If you look at his wins very recently in Louisiana in that primary and also in the Kentucky caucus, the margin was very, very small, while Cruz's victories the same day were much larger. Now, last night, Trump did have a good night. I still don't understand why Mississippi was so strong for him, but he had a good margin there. He had a good margin in Michigan. Cruz had a good win in Idaho, and Trump won the caucuses now in Hawaii, which I think is an unusual state. So we'll see where it goes from here. You do have, I think, D.C. on Saturday, but all eyes are on next Tuesday. Really, it's the second most important Super Tuesday with Florida, Ohio, Illinois. You have the Missouri caucuses, so I think Cruz will win in North Carolina. So you have 5 contests. They're going to be very significant. If Trump wins Ohio and Florida, which are winner-take-all, he's going to be almost impossible to stop. If he wins one of those 2, you could perhaps stop him. If he loses both, I think you can certainly stop him. So you're going to see a unification behind Ted Cruz. Today he got Carly Fiorina's endorsement. I think you'll see additional support come online. The question is, does Rubio hang on through Florida? He's going to be under a lot of pressure to get out before Florida, because if he has a loss there, it hurts his political future.
Yeah, and the problem right now is that if you are a Republican and you're looking at what your party is presenting, Trump is the face of your party. And Republicans have to decide if Ted Cruz is a viable alternative. So far, that hasn't panned out, but right now the choices are not great.
Now, we want to ask, Sanders scored, we mentioned this a little bit, we brushed on this, scored a stunning upset in Michigan, but he still trails in delegates, though, to Hillary. So, Ed, what are you anticipating for Ohio and furthermore?
Well, I mean, she leads by 20 to 30 points in Ohio and Florida, so it's probably going to go, looking like it's definitely going to go her way. He won by 1 point in Michigan, 1.5 points, depending on how, on the returns at this moment. But the thing is they walked out of Michigan with almost the exact same number of delegates. She has, I think, half or more than half of the delegates she needs to get to the nomination. Bernie Sanders has about a quarter of that. So he's got a long road in front of him. I don't really see a path for him at this point. Hillary is going to be the nominee. Sanders is going to stay in the race and continue talking about his issues of income inequality and the banks. And I think it's an important issue, and we'll continue hearing from him for months.
Now, Matt, you agree, obviously, that it's going to be all Clinton?
Yeah, I do. I think Bernie's staying in this race to build a platform for the issues he cares about, to pull Hillary to the left. And I think he also has that idea here that Hillary could be indicted. That possibility still exists sometime between now and the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia. And if that happens, he has all the delegates and he'll be in a position to be the nominee.
And Matt, since you have the floor, the Travis County Republican Party is officially distancing itself from its new chairman, Robert Morrow, for his profane, quote-unquote, slanderous statements. What's the latest?
Yeah, we had our first executive committee meeting last night since the primary 1 week ago. We did take a good step last night. There was a resolution of disapproval and disavowal of his past statements. That passed 61-4 with 2 abstentions. It was a very strong step. We have additional steps we'll take in the next couple months. He doesn't take office till June 13th. We're going to do everything we can to either persuade him to resign or to remove him for cause once he becomes chairman on June 13th. We are not going to let someone who stay in this role that doesn't intend to help Republicans and in fact will do damage to our party and to our candidates.
All right, Ed, final thoughts before we leave for the day?
Like I said, the Trump tidal wave has hit. The establishment just hasn't recognized it yet. And this is looking like it's going to be a Clinton-Trump matchup heading into the fall. By the way, I think she'll be fine. They've been throwing things at her for decades. Nothing has stuck. This is going to come down to the merits of the candidates and their issues.
I think it's going to be interesting on both sides. They both they can dish it and they can take it.
Definitely.
Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.